So now, as we enter in more things, again, we've got a cool little effect there that's guiding us in. Good afternoon, this is Mupersega on behalf of Mupercorp. Welcome back to part 7 of the Job Tracker series. I don't want to ramble too much like the last video. I am back. What are we doing today? We're going to be building the user experience, or at least changing some of the conditional formatting to give us a sense of where the eye needs to be, depending on where we have already entered data. Now, if you're looking at my sheet here, if I was to turn up and I wanted to do some stuff, I straight away, my eye is drawn down to this little section here, this little orange section. So I would be, okay, I know that this is where the thing, and then straight away, as soon as I have entered information into that, it tells me the other places that my eye could or should be, all right? So rather than every time needing to search an entire spreadsheet, I kind of know where the next thing needs to be. This is, I guess, creating a user experience or a user interface for us. This is an entirely bespoke user experience. Now, I'm obviously no professional in this. This is kind of just what I believe makes sense. Now, the next part would be there, and then straight away, okay, here is where the next thing needs to be entered. Oops, pressing Alt here when I shouldn't be. This Svipple, so I kind of get a sense of what still needs to be entered as I go along. And then over here, this is kind of giving me a hint of what boxes need to be checked before I can actually start this thing. So if all these values were actually entered, only then does it present me here with, have the goods been received? Have you requested withdrawal? Once those two things have happened, which we touched on earlier, then it says, okay, now you can start that job. Once that job is started, the next step would be to finish that job, okay? So that's how that works. It's just about creating some sort of guide for yourself. And because this is not an overly dynamic process, every time we're entering this information, it's going to be the same. So we can quite predictably or quite routinely set these conditional formatting to help us with that. So let's get back to our warehouse here, or our ship manufacture page. Now, so I'm going to go directly off what I've got over on the similar to what I've done. So the first thing you need to do, I would recommend, is that you actually hide this conc list that we were working on before. Okay, hide that column C. This is just where information is showing up to give us that address to the named range, Caldari Cruise or whatever. This will all still continue to work even though the column is hidden, so I'm going to hide that because we don't need to see that. That is never a place that we need to enter data now, because that's running on a formula that is entirely automated. Now, the first thing that we need to enter, my eye does not need to be over here. That is not what is important for this job. This job, the eye needs to be drawn to the job code and the very first thing that we need to enter, which is the month, okay? So what we're going to do here, so that we can kind of get the attention of the eye, I'm going to change this conditional formatting here by going to conditional formatting, new rule. Now, I've set up a little thing here in OBS, hopefully that this will work. This will just like that. Hold on, and then we go like this, just so that you can see this a little bit bigger. Okay, there we are. So the formula that I'm going to enter in here goes like this. Now, this is kind of different to when we are entering formulas in the normal sense. Like if we are entering a conditional formula, we are saying if this is the case, then do this thing, or do this thing, or do this thing, this thing, this thing, okay? Now, when it comes to conditional formatting, all we are doing is saying that format the values only when this condition is true, okay? So I'm saying that this is the win condition. If this thing happens, that's when you change the format, okay? So in this instance, what I'm saying, and this one doesn't give you any help as well with the formula, okay? You need to know the formula, or you need to kind of build it yourself. There is no guide when you're entering formulas into this conditional formatting formula section here. Okay, so again, you're going to use a formula to determine which cells to format. We're going like this. We're going equals this make that not absolute. If B2 excuse me guys, I'm a bit ill, so I'll be having little coughing fits in between work here. So B2 equals not blank. If B2 is not equal to blank, then put in a color. Let's say it's going to be this color. Let's say the font is going to be a very light green, okay? So do that if B2 is not equal to blank. So, okay. All right, very simply, what has that done? It's just made that do this because it's not equal to blank. There is a value in there, and thus it has done that that formatting that we asked for. Okay. Now, if I was to get that rule now, see how it is only applied to B2. That's not what we want. We want that one formula, or that one conditional formatting to be applied across the entire column of B, okay? Apply that. And now what it has done, it has said, well, this job code here, this is not equal to blank, so I'm going to change the format in there, right? Which is, I mean, it's fair enough. You are correct. So I'm going to leave that there for now. And see what happens now when I put a value in here, in May. See how that is now making that condition true. That is saying that, okay, I'm no longer blank, and thus I'm going to change the format like you told me to, right? If you haven't done this yet, make sure that you are copying down the formula that is in column B, just down, so that it's at least there doing stuff. So, and that's all great. But what we're going to do now, we're going to change this so that it is now looking for two conditions in the one formula, all right? This needs to show up and guide our eye so long as this cell is empty, all right? It's saying, look here, this is where you need to do a thing. But once that thing is done, that conditional formatting no longer needs to exist because that thing has been done, okay? So I'm going to go back to the conditional formatting. I'm going to go to Manage Rules, and in that, rather than looking at current... rather than looking at current selection, you're going to look at this worksheet, Now, this is some conditional formatting that already exists. I'm going to actually get rid of all this. I'm going to delete all these rules because, except for this icon set one, leave that there. Because we are going to do this later in the video. All right, now back to where I was. This formula for the B column to get that showing up. Now let's change this. We're going to go to Edit Rule. All right, so what we are going to change here now, we are going to actually look for two conditions, not just one. All right, it is saying that, okay, B1 is not equal to blank. That is fine. So I'm going to do the format that you told me to do. That condition is true. All right. It's looking, is this condition true? You know, it's saying B1 is not equal to blank, and thus I'm going to do the format. Now, I'm going to look for multiple conditions here. I'm going to say, I'm going to put in an AND function here. And that's the first condition. I'm going to add a condition here that actually says D1. D1 is equal to blank. Also, then do the formatting. Okay. So to break that down, if we were thinking about it like in a kind of logical sense, you're going to go, okay, here are the two conditions that need to be true before I will format this cell. The first condition is that B1 is not equal to blank. Okay, that is true, right? It's not equal to blank. I'm going to do the format so far. The next condition that also needs to be true before I will format this cell is that cell D1 is equal to blank. In other words, there is nothing in cell D1. Is that the case? I'm going to go okay. Apply. Okay. Now the only place that is actually occurring is in cell B6. All right. So in cell B6, it is saying that cell B6 is not equal to blank because there is an S5 in there, and that S5 shows up because of our formula that we worked on earlier. That whenever we put in a new month, that one populates there. Okay. So, and the other condition that it is looking for is that in cell D6 is that it is equal to blank. There is nothing in cell D6. So the two conditions have been met to light up that one in B5 there, in B6. Okay. Pretty cool, right? So now every time that I am looking at this sheet, I can go like this, and I know where my eye needs to be. It's very basic. This is a very basic example, and we're gonna zhuzh this up and make it a bit more pretty. But this is how it is working. Do you see? So it is looking for those two conditions, and whenever those two conditions are true, it's doing the format like we told it to. Okay. And see how the job code one is no longer lighting up, all right? Because the condition has not been met. The conditions have not been met. So moving on, we are going to do something here in the month column that kind of gives it this cool little effect, this cool little fade in kind of effect here, right? Like you see here. See how that kind of works into there. Now, what we're going to do we're going to get this select cell D2, because we're going to build the condition in one cell, and then we are going to populate it in the entire column. The thing is that for this formatting in cell D2, the conditions are actually exactly the same as the conditions that would happen in B1. Okay, so let's do it again. We're going to go new rule, use a formula to determine which cells to format, bring up this little fella here. Now I'm going to go again, it's exactly the same, right? If, oh no, I don't need an if function because it's only looking for true. So it's saying and, so this little equal sign at the beginning is essentially the if function. All right, I guess it's essentially saying if these two things are happening, then do this thing. Okay, and B2 equals, or is not equal to blank, and the other condition is that D2 is equal to blank. The format that I want you to do, oh, I'm sorry, gonna keep you guys awake. The format that you got to do is you're going to get the fill color. What color did we even use? I can't even remember. Was it that color? Or was it darker? I think it was that one. That one. And then we are going to also add a border here. Oh, actually, no, what we're going to do, we're going to go fill effects. Fill effects. And then the primary color that we are going to use is the background color for the entire sheet. Now, I don't actually know what that is. I cannot remember. I'm going to say maybe it was this, but we'll come back and change it. And we are going to use the color that is next door, which is that one. And we're going to go vertical. We're going to go like that. So now it's going to look like this, right? It's going to fade from this into the background color. And to show you that, I'm also going to add a border as well. I like having a bit of an edge along the bottom there. It's going to be same color as the text, like that. Put him on the bottom. I don't know how that's going to look, but that's okay. Then we go okay. Nice. So it's going to look like that. Now I'm going to also change this this B2 or the formatting there. Sorry, I better take that down. I'm going to edit this rule. I'm going to change the format to also reflect, you know, how I have that line there. I'm going to do that on that one as well. Okay. Okay, apply. And now, as you can see, we've got this little kind of thing here. I just do want to double check what color we were using on that one on the fill. Yeah, no, it was that color. That's fine. I guess it's fine. I mean, this is to teach you guys the concepts. I'm not going to spend too much time being pernickety about the design here. Okay. So like that. So now we need to copy that. So we are going to apply that conditional formatting across the entire column by selecting in there and then doing that. Apply. Okay. So now, as we enter in more things, again, we've got a cool little effect that's guiding us in. All right. The problem is that actually this, whatever this background color that we've been using, I haven't matched it, so that's not correct. So for that fade to really work correctly, it needs to be to the background color, which is, as we just saw, oh dear, as we just saw, it's not that color, it is that color. Okay, apply. Okay, there we go. So now that's more of a true fade. Okay, now I'm gonna leave that one there. I think this is a good place to start anyway. The conditional formatting here is going to take a few more videos, I think, but then we are pretty much set to start using this sheet. Thank you for joining me today. I hope that this has helped. I hope that you've learnt a little bit. Any kind of confusion with it, send us a message in the comments or something, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Mupersega out.